Alright, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike. I hope everybody's having a great day today. It is really dark here, so the lighting's a little off. I'm trying something different to incorporate the light in my apartment because it is really dark outside. So let's get into it. This is issue 5 of Nottingham from Mad Cave Studios. This is the only first printing I was able to get. I don't care, but just in case you're looking for a cover, they all do have specific covers, like first, second, third, fourth prints. Actually, some of the second and third printings that I got were nicer than the first print, in my opinion. We'll get into the who's and what's. Let's see, writer is David Hazan, artist is Shane, Connery, Volk, colorist is Luca, Romano, letter is Joamette Gil. Again, this is the 5th issue in the series. I have done a review on all the other issues in the series. I have a playlist set up, and I have other playlists just in case you're inclined to check out. I do a lot of reviews, and most of my reviews, they go under, Evil's reviews, but I do kind of, if they stick to a story arc or something like that, I've been trying to put them together, make it easier to watch. But for some reason, if you have turned into this and you have not watched any of the other stories, basically Nottingham is a dark version of Robin Hood, right? But it's so weird to say that. Robin Hood is already a dark tale. I mean, you're already rooting for a villain, a guy that's stealing from nobility and giving back to the poor. He's just painted as a hero, right? A rebellion type of figure. This is the opposite, where Robin Hood truly is the villain, and it's exactly that. He is trying to cause a uprising, and basically we are following the sheriff, which is the hero, and he's trying to protect Nottingham and this and that. The first 3 issues is really set up as a murder mystery style type of book, as you're learning about the Merry Men and Robin Hood with the main characters. But at this point in the story, this is the end and the wrap up. Starting right here, the Merry Men have the the whole castle of Nottingham surrounded, all the nobles pretty much in one, barricaded in one room in the castle, and they're waiting for the Merry Men to break the doors down, kind of thing. We do see in the comic that the Merry Men and Little John, by orders from Robin Hood, really the first time he's kind of popped up was the last issue. He's been in there, just not really a main character, I would say, and really not even in the last issue. But he does order Little John and the Merry Men to go through the tunnels, they have like a secret route, and basically Robin of Locksley, who is Robin Hood, and then he is going to retrieve Maid Marian, because in this story they truly, in every Robin Hood story, Maid Marian always goes with Robin, right? But this one actually follows the ramifications of her, supporting a known criminal and this and that. Well, we did find out that Maid Marian was the murderer that the comic was looking for in the first 3 issues, and we found out the last issue. So they do have Maid Marian in the dungeon, and Robin Hood is on his way to retrieve her. Little John and the rest of the Merry Men are supposed to be going through the tunnels to, get to the nobles in a different route that they're not expecting. Eventually, with all the quiet, the sheriff, he starts questioning, the amount of quiet that's there. He doesn't understand why they're not breaking down the door. How come he doesn't hear any activity outside the door, kind of thing. Eventually, he does state, and come to the conclusion, with the help of some other people in the room, that they probably are sneaking around the castle looking for other ways that they're not thinking about. And he also realizes that they're probably after Maid Marian. So the sheriff does ask the lord of the castle, I think his name is Giersberg or Ginsberg or something like that. But he does ask the lord to, take the rest of the men to go track down the Merry Men to, down in the dungeons where he thinks they're going. And he is right, but the lord eventually tells him that he has to go on his own, that the other, soldiers need to stay with the other nobles to protect him, and basically, as you can see in the panels, the sheriff goes down there on his own, and he is just this massive, he is an established fighter at this time, and we have seen him, him and Maid Marian, I think, in this comic are the 2 best fighters that we have seen. But he does kind of mow down through a bunch of the merry men, and eventually comes across Little John, and there is a tussle between him and Little John, an epic showdown that lasts about a full page, but Little John is eventually killed. They do show what Robin Hood is doing, and he has not been trying to free Maid Marian. He is going down there to kill her. While the sheriff is been dealing with the Merry Man and Little John, he has come to the conclusion of the same thing, that Robin Hood is on his way to kill Maid Marian, so he's kind of, he quickens and he gets there and he questions Robin and everything, and they start breaking out into a fight. For the most part, as you can see, the sheriff, like I said before, is the better fighter and quickly incapacitates Robin Hood. But during the scuffle, the keys do manage to fall on Marian's side of the prison cell, and she gets out, and it starts this whole three-way type of fight between the three people, because they're all trying to kill each other. And I mean, the sheriff not so much, but trying to protect himself. He's trying to capture the other two, but at the same time, he's not going to let them run free. But it eventually does get into this. I mean, it's badass on all sides. I mean, Marian, like I said, is one of the more skilled fighters, and she holds her own against the other two guys. And eventually, it gets into this situation where she just slips, and Robin Hood is able to grab her from behind and take her hostage. And it is this whole showdown between Robin and the sheriff, and the sheriff basically stating his, or asking Robin Hood to state its mission, kind of thing, and he's talked about the sick and the poor and this and that, and he does lay a little hindsight onto the sheriff. Basically, he believes the sheriff and the nobles are, that they should have been fighting, during the Holy War with the king and King Richard, and they should be right there with him, kind of thing. And the fact that they are back here in England, and that he sees them as traitors and deserters, kind of thing. And the sheriff stating, "I didn't desert. I got sent home because I got a spear in the leg, kind of thing. I'd still be there fighting." And kind of questions Robin Hood and why he's not there, and Robin Hood states that he was sent back to purge the Nottingham and England of these false prophets and nobles, kind of thing, and that's why he has started this uprising, and basically stating that back in the day, that the sheriff, when he was in the war, that he was cowardly, and that's why he was so easy to leave, even though he got injured and this and that, and basically stating that they're right back at the beginning, with the holy wars and this and that it's a guy with a girl, with the knife up to the neck, and the sheriff doesn't want to make that, cross that morality line to kill a woman. And at this point, the sheriff's like, "Bro, I'm old, that good and level, that good and evil line, it's fictional. They left my life a long time ago, it's been nothing but the gray, And he kind of states the fact that Robin of Locksley would hide behind a woman, kind of thing. He made the gravest mistake ever. And he does, ask another question, but eventually he just outright shoots Marian, stating that he was never going to let her live in the get-go because all the things that she's done, period. She was already facing the gallows, so I mean, what's the difference of taking an arrow right then and there? So, of course, he does shoot her. And manages to shoot Robin with a quick thing, but Robin does end up getting away. And basically that's where that scene leaves us at, is Robin scurries away, and they do jump forward. It looks like maybe a couple days or something, and the Lord is basically, he has surrounded all the rest of the living people after the the attack on their castle, and he's basically stating that Robin is a traitor, and anybody supporting him, kind of thing, will be killed without without scrutiny, that kind of thing, no questions asked, kind of thing. Anybody supporting the merry men, kind of thing, or will be put to the gallows. And they just show that Marian did not die, that she was injured, but she did survive. That Robin of Locksley survived. Of course, he just got shot in the leg. But they do show that now that that the king has made this statement that it has, caused an uprising with regular people, and now it seems that the merry men have grown in size because of this king's statement, kind of thing. And we do kind of come with the sheriff at the very end of the book, and he kind of is promoting this captain, basically, and you kind of get the feeling that the sheriff is quitting at his position, stating that the world around him is going to get a lot worse, kind of thing. And that's where they leave us at, but they do give us the end for now, kind of thing. And we do find out that there will be a second volume of Nottingham, which I was not aware of. Even reading this issue to this date, I was not aware that we were getting a second volume. So that, in my opinion, that is really cool, because if you can imagine it, there are some dark things ahead for Nottingham. There's a couple things that the sheriff mentions to the Lord, talking about that he believes the merry men are so large they could walk up to the crown and I think it's Winchester or Westminster or something, Winchester, England, or something like that at the time, where King Richard had his main castle. But I mean, that's my review for Nottingham, issue number 5. And the series and all, I loved it. I mean, the art, the story, the take on it. It's a different take, and I mean, how many different movies have you seen from Robin Hood? I myself, I think I've seen 6 or 7 that I can think of off the top of my head. But I've never seen quite done like this, and I do like the fresh take. They could have easily copied one of the previous done iterations of Robin Hood and got away with it. I mean, it's been done a bunch, right? But they actually did their own take, and I think it came out wonderful. I love the masks. They actually got a name to the masks. They call them the cursed ones, the people that wear, the merry men that wear those masks. But there is it is in a trade version. I know these floppies are hard to get. They're a little more expensive. But there is a trade volume with all these 5 issues collected. So I would highly suggest, if you have a chance to read Nottingham, to do so. It is a great series. You're not going to be disappointed, kind of thing. And I'm kind of really excited to hear that wasn't the end, that they were getting a second volume. But even if that is, it's actually a nice completion of the story. You could leave it right there, and that was it, right? I mean, everything was kind of tied up as far as everything they touched base in this book. I mean, you could say, yes, the uprising and what they're showing at the end, but I mean, as a story collected, I mean, they did a really good job at closing all the the questions that you got at the beginning of the book, and not a lot of books do that. So I give it like 2 thumbs up for that. All right, guys, I'll see y'all later. Bye.